So I'm just going to go ahead and show how I'm going to switch directions here. So I go from here, I'm going to walk away and do what we call a reverse switch. So I want to keep him drawn to my back when I change directions. If I were to go from here and try to switch in front, that's what's going to happen. And I lost my whip too. So you can see how much pressure that puts on that horse if I go to sweep in front to change directions. So what I want to do, instead of trying to sweep in front, I'm going to walk away from him, turn to my right, lead with the whips, and then go right into that C shape on this side. Good boy. Walk away, lead with my whips, C shape. So this is my introduction to the reverse switch and being able to change directions. And this is, of course, after I have caught the eye, drawn him in, moved the shoulder, all of those things, and I've done the C shape on both sides. Then I'm gonna work on the reverse switch. Good boy. Nice job. Good boy. Now, once I have this established, I want him to really understand how to target my shoulder as being his safe place. So this is gonna be any of your ILHA patterns at the shoulder, any of your movements at the shoulder. This is going to be how we're gonna establish it. The way that I like to do this, the way that I was originally taught, was to drive them up to the shoulder as you're walking and release when they're standing right here. Now, one thing that I've found with that is it works for some horses and not for others. And sometimes we lose bend, and sometimes our horses want to run us over a little bit if they get really intense about it. So what I've started doing instead is I've started to kind of back myself into them here and ask for that shoulder to yield. Good. And to see if they'll just kind of loop around me. Good. So this way, when we go to do things at the shoulder, he knows to yield his body to mine. And we're establishing a little bit more bend than if I were to just kind of walk off and try to drive him up into my shoulder. So we're gonna see if we can establish a little bend. Good. So if anything, I'm taking just tiny little half steps back. Good. And notice that my shoulders are dropped, my energy is low as he's in the right spot. And because of my whip being placed just a little bit behind me, if he doesn't move off that whip, it will make contact on its own. But he's finding a nice little happy place here. Good. Becomes like a little dance. Good boy. Very nice. And then from there, I'm going to ask him to come to that shoulder as he loops around. And then I'm just gonna take a few steps. Notice how my outside foot is gonna cross over my inside. So that's gonna balance my drive and my draw, right? So my drive being the whip behind him, and the draw being I'm leaning away from him. I'm drawing him back in. Good boy. And he's finding that nice, happy place at my shoulder. Good. I'm gonna go ahead and try it on the other side. Go on this side. Good, so now he got real confident on that one eye. He doesn't really want to switch. There, when he switches, I'm going to give him a little release. Let him know that was good to try that other eye. And then same thing this direction. I'm going to take these little half steps backwards and ask him just kind of loop around, keeping himself, come on. Good, keeping himself right at this shoulder. Good, very nice. When he has a nice little bend, I'm giving him release, letting him rest, take a breath, and then we'll try again. Good. Go on. And notice how if I kind of lose the bend, I'm actually putting the energy towards the hind end. That is similar to that C-shape motion. I was saying, you know, putting pressure on the hind end and then inviting them into my back. That's very similar. That's how that's going to relate in their brains from that C shape to now this motion, is that I'm putting a little pressure towards the hip, and then there's a release of pressure right at the shoulder, drawing him into the shoulder. Good. If he does that well, then I'm going to start taking a few steps forward. But see how my outside leg again is crossing. Good. Good boy. Very nice. Good. And then if that's going well, then I can start building my circle, which is exciting. So I'll start on this side again. Good boy. Ask him to come around to my shoulder. So if I have some good connection, he's following me around at that shoulder, then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to spin around. So right now I'm going to the left, he's at my right. I'm going to spin around to the left. Make sure you guys can see this really good. Spin around to the left, square up a little bit, just like a lunge circle. If he sticks with me for a half circle, that's great. Back to the shoulder as the release. So we're gonna start using this walking at the shoulder as a release for a lot of the Liberty work that we do. This is gonna be their happy place. So if I start teaching, tougher maneuvers, I'll ask for it, I get something, and I'll go for a little walk. So I'm gonna ask, spin out here. Notice how my feet are walking backwards a little bit? That's balancing my drive and draw. Good boy. So when we're lunging, a lot of times we're taught, make sure your feet are always moving forward. Liberty and lunging are not the same thing. So I am using my whips to drive, but my body's gonna draw him back into me. And notice how because of starting at that shoulder, we have a really pretty bend out of him. Automatically, we have bend. And like I said, bend is connection. So, reverse switch, we'll try it on this side. Good. Bring him up to my shoulder, make sure that that feels really good. If that feels good, I'll try to square up, backing my feet up, asking him to go around. Very good, he did well. And we'll go for a little walk. Good. I like using this walk too, because sometimes if the horse wants to just stop every time, they'll actually run off, come to you and stop, and then run off when you add pressure. So I like to utilize this walk as the release so that they don't lose that motivation to try some stuff. They'll just kind of keep moving. And if he's doing really good with this, then I can stop and pet him. Good boy. Very nice. So for a horse at his level where he is at training, this is about where I would stop. This is, let's say this is about 6 sessions for him, but he hasn't been worked in about 2 weeks. So I'm really pleased with that. I would want to leave that here. I could revisit it later in the day if I had some time, but 15 minutes is really plenty to get started, 15 minutes at a time, and let them rest beyond that.